Hello, today I'm going to share with you about the upcoming full moon happening in Pisces on August 30th at 9:35 p.m. The Pisces full moon will be happening at 7 degrees of Pisces. This Pisces full moon is happening on the Pisces Virgo axis. We are definitely going to be pulling in the invisible, the spiritual, expansive energy that comes with Pisces. And in this full moon, it will be important to tap into these invisible resources and to invite the magic into your life. We're also going to want to look at during this full moon what we're leaving behind. That's what we do in a full moon. We're not setting new intentions, we're actually releasing. And Pisces is the energy of releasing and ending, so that perfectly aligns. So you can ask yourself in this energy, what are you leaving behind so that you can really expand into this more intuitive space and really fully bring these aspects of the invisible into your 3D world. So again, this is happening at 7 degrees of Pisces, 7 degrees of Virgo. Pull your chart out and make sure you know where this is, what angles or planets may be aspecting those degree points. This is considered also the health axis. Virgo in particular is the sign where we are very interested in health matters, and it's also considered the spirituality axis, as of course we're pulling in that strong Pisces energy. So what is Pisces all about? Pisces is the last sign on the zodiacal wheel, and it's therefore about completion and endings. It coincides with this full moon very well, being that this is about what are we releasing, what are we letting go. Pisces is a water sign. It's incredibly intuitive. I personally think Pisces is the most intuitive sign. And we might have heightened emotions during this full moon. It's a very intense supermoon, the third, I believe, in a sequence of supermoons, which means that it's closer to the Earth and that we are going to feel the energy even more strongly. We may already be feeling at this time that our intuition is coming online, that the emotions are running strong. That would be definitely keyed up in this super moon time. It's also a very artistic and a very creative energy, the Pisces energy. It's very feminine as well. Pisces is the higher octave of Venus, so it does pull in a lot of the similar archetypes as the Venus energy with arts and whatnot. Pisces again is very much about the invisible realms. It's about the subconscious. It's about the dream world and what lies below the surface. Pisces is one of our signs of duality. It's represented by the image of two fish that are moving in opposite directions. One of the fish is the fish of the spirit world, or some say that it's dead, it's gone beyond the veil. And the other is here in the 3D world. And so it is the sign where we can merge these two things in our lives. And with this duality, the Pisces energy is asking us to have balance. Balance in our 3D life, in our 3D world, our material world, and balance with our spiritual energy. And it really pulls in this Virgo Pisces axis, because Virgo is the sign where it's a very earthy sign and it's very 3D. It's about the details of this world. And so we already have this theme really strongly playing out in the current chart. When the moon's opposing the sun in Virgo, this is where we really want to focus on how do we weave our intuition, our spiritual world into our day-to-day life and practice, even into like the mundane things of life. It's about having a more fulfilling strategy for doing that. And perhaps these are questions and things you've been considering already, like how can I have a better and more consistent meditation practice? The energy of this full moon is going to help you if that's the case. Pisces also rules the feet. and the immune system. We have an aspect happening in this chart with Mars that's been ongoing that is definitely asking us to be more aware of our energy, more careful, more protective of our energy and our state, and what could maybe come into our field at this time. And just be aware of our vitality, take measures to focus on things that support your health, support your immunity at this time, and support your ability to adapt. Pisces, very much, if you have a lot of strong Pisces energy, it tends to come with this strong, solid foundation that the universe is looking out for me. The universe has my back. Where Virgo needs the evidence for this, Pisces doesn't. Pisces has the trust already built in. Virgo wants the details, wants to see, like, show me the numbers, show me how this is true. But Pisces is very different in that way because Pisces just has that strong inner knowing. So we definitely have a strong Virgo going on right now because we have the sun in Virgo. And we also have Mercury, the ruler of Virgo, in its home sign. Mercury is not only in domicile, but it's also exalted in Virgo. However, there's a catch because Mercury is in retrograde. So while our faculties of logic and the mind that Mercury rules are going to normally be very strong when they're in the sign of Virgo. Right now it's retrograde, so it's sending all of our energy inward, and it's also putting the focus more on the lunar aspect at this time, which is stronger because we have the moon in the sign of Pisces. We've recently had Mars leave the sign of Virgo, but it had a head start there for a while, and so a lot of us have been feeling this energy of Virgo happening for a while. And that can be leading us to want to get organized, to check our boxes, get things done that we maybe have put off. It's also very health oriented. It's a great time to start a new health regimen, whether that's a diet or exercise or practice of some kind. It's very highly supported. It's also a good solar season for focusing on service. Virgo is all about service to others, volunteering, things like that. And it rules the digestion. It rules the stomach, the digestion. And so what we want to really consider at this time are what is it that we're digesting? Maybe what we're not digesting, right? And it's not just 3D, it's not just food, it's also what's the spiritual food that's really feeding us, and are we digesting it? Do we need a change? What energies are we struggling to digest at this time, and what can we do to improve our digestion? And it's also a good time to ask, like, am I being nourished? Am I being nourished by the food I'm eating? Am I being nourished by the energy that's surrounding me? And can we be more conscious about nourishing our bodies at this time? A good consideration that you can have at this time is to use castor oil packs. A friend brought this to my attention recently, and I've been sleeping with a castor oil pack over my liver or belly for the last couple days, and I'm really loving it. I've had great sleep. Castor oil is very cleansing. This is a great time actually to consider doing a cleanse or just trying something new like that, and tuning into the belly space. A lot of people say that that's where the intuition resides. Finally, it's a great time to consider what's not working with your daily routine, with your daily habits. Those are good questions to ask right now so that you can revamp, let go of some things during this full moon, and try something new. Again, the big theme of this full moon is reconnecting our intuition with our 3D world. We want to weave the two together. We want to maybe more deeply weave them together. And we can ask ourselves, how can we have a deeper spiritual practice at this time? So we're gearing up for back to school. Our minds are just already rearing and ramping up. And we want to remember to give the mind a break at this time. We want to remember to do what we can to tune into the intuition, to let the intuition lead. And this could even be through doing dream work and tuning into our dreams and what guidance is being provided at this time. Another good thing to remember in this energy of the full moon in Pisces is to tune into the invisible supports that are here for us. Remember, Mercury is in retrograde, and we must lean into that Pisces energy at this time because that is our GPS. It may be that you've had some energy come up at this time around not being supported, not feeling supported, feeling like you have to do everything by yourself. This is very much going to be mirrored in the energy of Saturn conjunct the moon in this chart. And we may feel like we are the only person that we can lean on and trust at this time. Sometimes it does take getting a little desperate. There's, workers and support behind the scenes in the invisible. And if you are someone who works with angels, works with your guides, works with the fairy realm, this is going to be very much alive in this full moon energy. So at this time, you could use what comes up to really tune into the invisible support. It would be really helpful to acknowledge the invisible support that you have, and that will allow it to flourish more in your life. And so you can maybe at this time start a practice that supports this acknowledgement. So it's interesting, at the time of this chart, we have Mercury retrograde in the sign of Virgo, opposing Neptune, who is in the sign of Pisces and also retrograde. And so we again have this dynamic of energies of, is it the intuition? Is it the logic? Being that Neptune is the ruler of the moon, that one is stronger. Neptune is the ruler of the entire chart. And again, it's guiding us to trust and lean into those intuitive and invisible energies at this time. We also have Saturn opposing the sun in Virgo at this time. Saturn is also in the sign of Pisces, retrograde. This is an energy that is going to slow us down. It's potentially going to put obstacles in our path that will help us to tune inwards. This is a common theme of this current chart for sure, as we do have plenty of retrograde planets at this time. And I do realize that this is something a lot of people are talking about, this retrograde fever, and how crazy it is how many retrograde planets we have, and oh no, and do not despair, because you've been through this before multiple times in the last several years. This is the exact pattern we've experienced, where at the second half of the year we have several planets in retrograde. So have no fear, it's just a normal way it works, and all is good. But we definitely do have that opposition happening between the sun and Saturn. And this calls us to rise to the occasion of taking responsible action and rise to the occasion of what is our soul's purpose, and not our everyday purpose, but our deeper purpose at this time. And the sun in Virgo can also really overthink things and be overcritical. So again, we want to lean into our more intuitive senses at this time. It is going to be really important to look out for the potential for anxiety, especially if that's something that you have experienced. Saturn aspects can sometimes come with anxiety. We do have Saturn conjunct the moon. And if this is the case, then you'll want to stay tuned for the download that I'm providing in my Substack for subscribers that offers a flower essence for strong Pisces energies that could be helpful during this full moon. And in order to get that, you have to simply be a paid subscriber. And it's only $5 a month to be a paid subscriber, so it may be worth it for you to do that to get these downloads. Another aspect that I want to talk about that we have going on at the time of this full moon is the minor grand trine that's happening between Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus. Now, this is an ongoing minor grand trine that's been happening, but at the time of this full moon, this will be the first time for that minor grand trine that all of these planets are retrograde. So definitely what we're seeing in this energy with these three planets is a greater ability to expand. There's a lot of energy towards expansion, and really that expansion, when we have these retrograding planets involved, is that it's going to be inwards. There's going to be an inward expansion happening where we can see the bigger picture of some of the themes, maybe patterns that we're dealing with. And we're definitely going to be transforming at warp speed with Uranus involved. And you may already feel like, wow, when you look back at yourself from last year, I've heard so many people say this, that they can't even recognize the person that they've become. So also at the time of this full moon, we have Jupiter squaring Venus. And these are two benefic planets in a hard aspect to one another. This brings up what it is that we desire, what it is that we want. However, it could also be bringing up some of the obstacles and difficulties with attracting that abundance. So you can be thinking about your patterns around abundance and receiving at this time. And how do you react to abundance when it comes your way? Do you doubt it? Do you criticize it? Say things like maybe yes, but it won't be here long, or oh my goodness, I better act now or else. How do you act when others receive abundance? So this is going to call in how we react when others receive, and it's going to call in whether or not we are able to be truly happy for others. And what is our pattern around this? Are you genuinely happy for others when they receive? And this is not about criticizing yourself either. This isn't about making yourself wrong. It's not about shame. And it is simply about being aware of a pattern at this time. And sometimes it's important to feel through all of these things and let yourself sort of have the pity party, or, just kind of rage a bit about something in order to process it. It's not wrong to feel your feelings. And throwing an affirmation over this is like putting ice cream on poop. In my recent weekly overview, I talk about a practice that this aspect can really help you align with. And the practice is about really tuning into that Piscean energy that trusts that the universe has your back, that the universe is always going to bring you what is beneficial for your growth. So when you have that trust, it will allow you to really see that when you see without you that someone else is getting these beautiful benefits, it's the universe sending you a message that these are things that are here for you, that you also can have that abundance. You can also receive that. And so a good practice that you can have is to kind of reframe that thought pattern that you may have been experiencing. And instead, seeing another receive, say, yes, please, me too. And realize that it's not about competition. It's not about someone that is getting something, which means you can't. There's plenty to go around for everyone. It reminds me of that scene from Sleepless in Seattle with Meg Ryan in the restaurant. And, she's really enjoying herself. And another character sees her from another table and she says, yeah, I want to have what she's having. It's the exact same thing where we can see how another person is enjoying their life and say, yes, I want that too. That's another way of understanding what the universe is showing you and why it's showing you that. It's really inviting you to that same abundance. Like abundance is unlimited. Finally, we have a very interesting aspect called the quincunx, and this is happening between Mercury and Chiron. I want to pull Chiron into this conversation for sure. With any Virgo energy, healing and health is going to be very important, and Chiron, being the wounded healer, is going to be incredibly important to look at any aspects happening with that particular asteroid. So a quincunx is all about work and health. So that's also why this is such an important aspect, because obviously the Virgo energy is about health, and we want to pull in anything that's working with this. So it's also an energy that feels really uncomfortable. It is energy that is relating to planets in completely different elements. So at the time we have Chiron in Aries, that's a fire sign. We have Mercury in Virgo, that's an earth sign. These aren't energies that really jive very well together, so it's uncomfortable. And this discomfort is going to drive us to integrate the healing, the adaptation, the growth points that are coming between these two planets, and maybe an understanding that is coming about our wound, our Chiron wound, as Chiron is the wounded healer. And we can look to health areas where we can make little changes to make this more comfortable. And if you are interested in working with your Chiron placement, I do have a class happening on October 3rd that I'm calling the Chiron Workshop. I invite you to join me. It's going to be at 7 p.m. I'll put details in the show notes if you would like to learn more about that. Okay, those are the energies of this full moon in Pisces. For all of my paid subscribers, I'll have a beautiful download detailing the major points of this full moon. I'll have some beautiful journal prompts to help you dive deeper into the energies. And I am going to have a flower essence recommendation for you, that if you want to pull that in to help you integrate these energies, that would be very helpful. And I'm also going to have a ceremony that you can use. It's a very gentle ceremony, very easy ceremony that you can use during this full moon at this time. And if you're interested in getting this download, all you have to do is sign up to be a paid subscriber on my Substack. It's, again, only $5 a month, and you get these beautiful downloads for every full and new moon. I'll be back again on Monday, as I always am, with the weekly overview of the astrology energies. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.